What's good, everyone? Yeah, sometimes it's kind of tricky because it has a slight delay. But yeah, I hope everyone is doing well. All right, yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I hope everyone is doing well. So we're going to get started. All right, so this is probably the most famous, the most used chord progression, like period, guitar, whatever. But on guitar, I guess just like the way you play it, like the fingering positions and everything, it just sort of makes sense, and it makes sense for guitar. And there are some songs that you can actually tell that it was written on guitar because of the open positions on guitar, especially like the key of C, the key of A, and everything. It just works out where the fingers just sort of fall in a certain place on guitar. So let's go ahead and get started with these chords on guitar in the key of C. In this series, I'm pretty much going to be showing you how to play these chords in C. For now, for anybody, if you're just learning, this is really like an intermediate level guitar player style, but it is simple enough for a beginner to actually pick up on if you spend time with it. But if you're not familiar with multiple keys on guitar or just in music in general, you can just use a capo, and I'll demonstrate that. I think I have a couple of videos on how to use a capo. And pretty much a capo is the little clip thing that you can put it on different frets, and you can basically play what play what using the capo, but play behind the capo as though you're playing behind the nut of a guitar. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much what that is. It's pretty simple. Pretty simple. I want to make sure y'all can hear me though. Hope y'all can hear me well. So okay, with this chord progression, this is I'm sure I wrote it correctly as a title, but this is the 1-5-6-4 chord progression, and the 1-5-6-4 chord progression is probably the most famous, the most widely used chord progression that I'm aware of, and I'm gonna play it so that you can just hear what I'm talking about. Okay, can you see my hands? All right, let me turn this up a little bit. All right. So yeah, that's the most. I mean, if someone just didn't know how to even start writing a song, many people will start with that chord progression, okay, and then just kind of go from there. Like some people, they get writer's block, and that's pretty much how they start. I'll let you know some nuggets toward the end of this lesson as well. So let's get started. Some of y'all have said that my intros are a little too long, but hey, that's my teaching style. So excuse me for being clear and willing to explain. That's my teaching style. So anyway, let's get started with these chords. So let me pull this up real quick. Maybe I should pull this down. Okay. Anyhow, yeah. So with this, we're going to start with the C, and in the most previous live that I did, I mean C, and actually I want to say all these chords are in that chord, are in that chord progression, are in that video. But I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to show you. So C being the 1, okay, is the first chord, and the way you play that is this. Okay. Now on here, let me make sure we can hear. Yeah, we got it. Now, so here are the positions of the notes. Okay, 3rd fret on the A string. Here's the A string right here where my cursor is. 3rd fret right here. Okay, 2nd fret on the D string right here. Okay, we have an open G string. This string is the G string. B string is on the 1st fret, and on that 1st fret you're playing a C as well on the B string. All right, so that's the first chord. And again, in the last video, like I'll be saying these chords repetitively, but you know, to be honest with you, repetition is important. Okay, repetition is very important. So if I sound redundant, sometimes it's necessary in order for things to get ingrained into your mind. So me saying it doesn't mean that, for those of you who are like, hey, I already know that. Well, if you already know it, fine, you know, but if you want to get it locked in to where you're not trying to remember, we do repetition over here. That's how you get good. Okay. So that's for the C major chord. Okay. Let's erase that. The G, which is the 5. And I'll even switch if it's better for me to actually switch. I mean, I can do that too. Maybe that's more helpful, like I did in the last one. Yeah, so, and notice I'm using my thumb and I'm just strumming down. You can also use a pick. This is a pick. You know, you can use a lighter, more flexible pick. This pick is actually, this one is a little more flexible. Okay, this one is a little less flexible. It doesn't bend as much, and it just has a different response on the strings. So anyway, the G, which is a 5 in the key of C. All right, so there we go. 3rd fret on the low E string, the big string. Okay, 3rd fret. On the A string, 2nd fret. Both the D and the G string will be open, and the B and E, the high B and E string, will be 3rd fret. And remember in the last video, I actually mentioned that the G major chord, the open G, you don't have to play this that D right there, that 3rd fret on the B string. You don't have to play that because it's actually it's already in the chord. So it's an option. So you can play either this, or you can flatten that pinky, if you notice what I'm doing right here. So it's the difference between or. Okay, so that's that. And some of you may say, well, you know, we can just take the other video and just switch the order. Well, most definitely. I mean, you should. You should make that connection, but not everyone is not going to make that connection. Okay. So, but if you are making that connection, then good. The third chord is an open A minor, or A minor 7. So, and the notes are here. Actually, let me be more clear about that. There we go. So that's technically what it is. So it sounds like that. And an A minor looks like that. So you hear that boom going from here. So that's an A minor. This is an A minor 7. Okay. So that's the difference. Okay. You can use both. All right. Now now we're going to the 4. And we're moving a little bit faster because, maybe I want to do a little more rambling at the end of this video. But the last one is the 4. So now one thing I did not share in the last video is that the full 4 of this chord is actually, but I only showed you like the top half of the chord. Either or is fine. So here's the full chord very quickly. Okay. All right, so that's where it is. Low E string, 1st fret. A string, which is the 5th string, 3rd fret. D string, 3rd fret. G string, 2nd fret. B string, 1st fret. High E string, 1st fret. All right. Any guitar chord that you play, remember that you don't have to play the full chord, because typically guitar is an instrument that is going to provide a lot of color and actually like percussion as well. So you can play a part of the chord. You don't have to play the full. Maybe during the chorus when you're trying to, but when you want to bring it down. So it's okay to only play that part of the chord and actually mute the lower strings, again with your thumb right here. So if you were to play it, it's not going to ring out. Okay, you don't want it to. You don't want that. You want, or if you're gonna. Whatever. That's a good rhythmic technique. Use your thumb to hit the bass note and use your other fingers to actually hit the harmonies, something like that. So that's the last chord. So I know that was quick. So if you still need that, you can rewind, but that's pretty much how you play the chord. Now, as far as uses of the chords, because it's probably like tens of thousands of songs that this same chord progression is used. Now, the reason that you can actually use it so many different ways is because I think I explained this in the last video as well. You can use the same root to like within the chord progression, but the voicings of that root can be a little bit different. So an example is if you play a C major chord, which I showed you earlier in this video. Maybe I'll just delete that. So yeah, if I'm showing you this, well, I am showing you this. This is a C major. And if I lift my index finger, that's a C major 7th. Which it changes the harmonies that are being played within that chord. So it gives it a different sound. So one song may play the C chord like this, like all the way through, every time they're playing the chord, but you may hear another song play and you may hear some movement. You may hear and this is also another way that you can come up with melodies within the song. Like if you can't come up with a melody in your head, well, if you know these combinations, if you know how to work these chords, you can come up with a melody just playing the C major chord, and you're just moving around, doing your hammer-ons, how I explained. And I'll get in depth if that's the emphasis of that video. But this video, I'm just showing you the different uses of the that chord progression, the 1, 5, 6, 4 chord progression. But this is why you can use that chord progression so many different ways, because you're deviating from major and minor chords. Okay. If someone were to play a C not in the open position, let's say they come over here, they play a major 9. That's a different sound from, or if you go down here, let's see, it's a different sound, but you can still play that same chord progression using jazz chords or blues chords. Okay, so and a blues chord may sounds more like this, like a dominant 7. So someone could play. How would you play this? If all of them were dominant 7 chords, how does it? I don't even like how that sounds. You'll probably still play the minor chord in that, so. That's a different sound than in that 4. You can play only, if you would like, you could play the 3rd fret on the D string and 1st fret on your B string. So it will sound like this. So I mean, that's something that I just do, but what kind of chord is that? It's just like it's just a different sound. Maybe that's an F major 7, but whatever it is, different sound. Okay. So just know that you can play the same progression with a totally different melody, Okay. Totally different colors. And this is how the song can sound totally different from another song that has the same progression, the same chord progression, from like referencing the root, okay, meaning the C, which is the 1, the G, the A, and then the F. Okay, they're just different types of a different type of C, a different type of G, a different type of A, and a different type of F. You know, a different variation of that chord, a different color of that chord. In addition to what I just mentioned, you don't have to play the chords like you can. Just like in the last video, I think what did I even share? I shared that chord progression was. Actually, it was a little bit different because it was a 2. I said it was a 2, 5, 1, 6. Yeah, that was in the last video. So it wasn't exact. It wasn't the same chords. That 2 was in there. So we added the 4. But whatever chord progression you learn, keep in mind that you can change the order of those chords yourself. You know, you don't have to wait for someone to show you how to play a 6, 5, 1, 4 chord progression if you know how to play a 1, 5, 6, 4 chord progression. Okay, so you can change the order. So let's just say just now we talked about the 1, 5, 6, 4. We talked about that, right? Let's just say you're bored and you just want to experiment with, you know, a chord progression with those same chords, but just change the order. Well, 6, 5, 1, 4. What about 4, 5, 6, 1? How does that sound? Okay, so that's how that sounds. Like, you ain't got to keep it the same, and that could just be, you know, if you're stuck and you're getting writer's block and stuff like that, that may give you different ideas. Okay, and remember that there are all sorts of colors that you can experiment with. You know, just keeping in mind that, you know, if it doesn't sound good, you know, try to develop your ear with that, and I will go over, you know, some more like technical things so that it really starts to come together. Right now, I'm just showing you how to play the chords just flat out. But when you know some theory, it does come together and it does make sense. Okay. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much, that's how you play the 1, 5, 6, 4 chord progression. And I'm not even going to name all the songs, but they're just some of the most famous songs use this chord progression, and they were actually written on guitar. And that's one benefit of learning guitar actually is that you can actually tell when a song is, like, when you learn guitar, you can tell when a song was written on guitar, even if a piano plays it, because of the chords that that piano is playing, or arpeggios that the piano is playing, or whatever. So, you know, I just think that's pretty cool. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Just keep in mind, you can switch the order of these chords. Okay. And I think that is it. I don't think there's anyone watching. I don't see that I have any questions or anything like that. So yeah. Hey, I don't know when I'll be back. It might be like 2 days or something like that. Yeah, it might be another 2 days before I come back and actually do something else. If there's someone who sees this video or any of the videos, just keep in mind the instrumentals that I play basically demonstrate, you know, me playing guitar on the instrumentals that I make, on the songs that I produce and things like that. So these tracks demonstrate my skill set. So it's pretty much saying that I know how to do it, and I know how to do it in a band setting, music production setting as well. So these uploads represent work just like how I'm showing you right now. It's just something to entertain you. So you may see me upload just an instrumental, all right? And for me, it's all the same. It's just a different way to entertain you, playing guitar. Guess what? I'm also playing piano. I'm playing piano. I'm playing bass on these tracks. And again, it's just to demonstrate my skill set. So me providing guitar tutorials is basically showing you what you could do as well if you wanted to take it in that direction. And actually, one of the ways that I learned how to play guitar was through music production. Like, I knew piano primarily, but I wanted to add another instrument. And it started out with me just kind of doodling, like, you know, doing a drum track and using a guitar to form chords. And I could only play one chord, okay? And then it grew to 2 chords, and then so on and so forth. And I was initially only looping those chord movements or whatever, and I would just copy and paste it. But now I'm playing fully from start to finish, okay? And yes, that was like years ago, but yeah, that's actually how I started. I used music production, to be honest with you, to actually motivate me to keep learning guitar. So it motivated me to stay, to kind of like stick with learning it. And yeah, that's pretty much what that is. So I didn't just sit in a chair 5 days a week practicing. That's not what I did. You know, I would get an idea of a drum loop or something like that, sit down and do that, let that play, and let me kind of doodling with the guitar, you know, spark some ideas, you know. Or I would play something on piano and then kind of compare the two, and just go from there. Okay, so that's just over time, taking steps and everything. And but yeah, if you have any questions even about that, about like the music production component, let me know about that as well. And I hope that you enjoy the instrumentals, because I like sharing them. And keep in mind, the instrumentals as well are useful for playing, you know, in the background of you working. You know, maybe there's something that I can make where you can play while you're asleep or while you're studying and relaxing. And you all have seen the other channels with instrumentals. But I've been doing this for years, even before those channels like showed up. So, but anyway, instrumentals are very important. I mean, I don't know who they is, but instrumentals are played even on elevators or as call waiting music on the phone. So it's very useful, and I take pride in providing that. Okay, so yeah, it's all provided for you on this channel. And I actually have other channels that that I'm doing this as well, but my name isn't on it. So keep that in mind. So yeah, I hope this was helpful. And if you have any questions, you know, man, drop it in the comment and just let me know. So I'll see y'all later. I love you. Hope you have a good week and enjoy.